Alright, it's time. You know it's time for part two. Is the WWE racist? We're about to get into that. Now, before we get into it, though, I want to start off by making a couple of statements. Number one, Mr. Andrew Samuels, who is the creator of the original video, has decided to make a video in response, which I will actually, once my series is over here, I will touch on that. Because actually, what he did in his video is he did a lot of chopping my shit up to try to attempt to make me sound racist. And then what he did is he even deleted YouTube comments that proved my point and kept the ones that he felt met his agenda. And we're going to get into that a little bit more because actually in his video he showed how much of a YouTuber he really is. We all know a lot of these YouTubers that get on here and they ain't really about that. And that's exactly what Andrew Samuels or Fredricsburg is. Because when it came time to actually back up that, he ain't down. He ain't about that life. That's real shit. But now let's go ahead and move on. Because I don't want that to interfere with the message that this video is. Because this was never intended to be a flame war back and forth, but this is how he's made it. So that video will be separate from the is WWE Racist video. So let's move right on into it. Let's move into what he has to say now about Shelton Benjamin.
This is also another great wrestler to himself, who also never became WWE champion. Shelton Benjamin. Now, people who've seen Shelton Benjamin, he's more of that acrobatic, sort of like he does some crazy ass fucking moves. He's also been in a lot of ladder matches where I thought was so impressive. Like, this motherfucker was crazy with it. Now, I heard through the grapevine that Vince McMahon offered him a push, but he didn't want to do it. Now, what there was rumors is that, not that he just didn't want to do it, but there was some bullshit politics going on and changing his character or doing certain things with him. That's why he didn't approve of it from the WWE. So he said, fuck it. I ain't doing that shit. Fuck them niggas. You know what I mean? That was pretty much his attitude. But see, Shelton Benjamin paved the way for a lot of wrestlers. A lot of acrobatic crazy shit he did with the ladders. He paid a path for a lot of fucking wrestlers, such as your Evan Bourne, who does the acrobatic shit, fucking Kofi Kingston, you know what I'm saying, etc. You know, Rey Mysterio was around those times too, so you can't really put that in the category. But you know what I'm saying, athletes like that, they, you know what I'm saying, if it wasn't for this dude doing crazy shit like that, they would have never, you know what I'm saying, got their ideas. But I'm just saying he has part of what to do with it. This dude also never became a world champion, a WWE champion, a champion period. I guess he was Intercontinental champion and probably a European champion, and that was the most, and I think a tag team champion. Once again, how come Vince doesn't push these guys? If anybody, out of all people, I think Shelton Benjamin should have got the most push. That's just me.
Alright, you just heard what he said about Shelton Benjamin. Now, here's the thing about what he's got to say, Mr. Andrew Samuels. Mr. Samuels, I actually do agree with you on Shelton Benjamin, that he had a lot of talent. But there's some things that you said that just, once again, shows your ignorance. What you said is that Shelton Benjamin is highly acrobatic, and that he was kind of an originator of acrobatics. And a lot of people learned acrobatics and wouldn't even had a career if it wasn't for Shelton Benjamin. You spoke of the name Evan Bourne. You went through a couple different names, Kofi Kingston, and you almost even threw Rey Mysterio in there, but at least you were smart enough to know you were full of shit there. So let me go ahead and elaborate a little bit. First of all, Shelton Benjamin, much like his tag team partner, Charlie Haas, when they were in the WWE, they were anything but high flyers. They were technical wrestlers. They were touted for their collegiate wrestling ability. You saying that Shelton Benjamin's a high flyer is like saying Kurt Angle's a high flyer just because he did a moonsault once. That is pretty much what you just said. Shelton Benjamin has been in a couple of ladder matches. You made it sound like he's a ladder match extraordinaire and he's just been in a shitload of them. I challenge you to show me a large amount of ladder matches in which he has been in. You talked about him and the Money in the Bank. I ask you just same question I asked on every other person you spoke of. You said he should have won Money in the Bank. So my question to you is this. Who should he have won Money in the Bank over? With that being said, you then went in to say Vince McMahon offered him a push. And he turned it down. So let me just say this. If Vince McMahon offered him a push, how does that fit your racist agenda? How does that fit your agenda? If Vince McMahon and the WWE, and that's not even what you said. You said that the WWE and pro wrestling is racist. How does that fit your agenda then? If Vince McMahon offered him a push and he turned it down. Think about what he did with Goldust. He offered Goldust a push, but he said, you know what? You have to become a faggot first. Goldust did what he had to do, and he got a push. It definitely wasn't no WWE title, but Goldust got a push. Now, you say Shelton Benjamin didn't get the push. I have to disagree because he was referred to as the gold standard. Once he left the world's... First of all, he was called the world's greatest tag team with Charlie Haas. It was a pretty impressive name. And then he went on to being the gold standard. The gold standard is a push. Because he actually lived up to that. Shelton Benjamin, talent-wise, I'm all for you. I think talent-wise, in the ring, he has the capability of being a world champion. I don't deny that at all. But we all know the problem with Shelton Benjamin is his charisma, or lack of, his personality. On the mic, have you ever actually watched Shelton Benjamin? Actually, you have, because in your video, you showed him and Carlito. You tell me if that looked like charisma to you. You say he paved the way for the acrobatic wrestlers. Okay, so we're really going to go here. We're really going to say this when there's so many acrobatic wrestlers that came way before him. We're not even going to talk about the Jerichos, the Mysterios, the La Parkas, the goddamn Juventud Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero. I mean, we really going to do this? Come on, man. So right now is when I need the Ed Lover sign. Come on, son. Now, another thing. Why do you keep calling Kofi Kingston Coffee Kingston? That's something I'm highly... I mean, it's hilarious. You've never heard a single WWE... You say you're such a WWE fan. You ain't never heard no goddamn analyst call him Coffee Kingston. Well, why do you keep calling him Coffee Kingston like that? But anyway, I just want to throw that in as a side note because that's actually some funny shit. I'm surprised. I'm actually kind of mad I didn't think of it first. Now, you say your question is why didn't Vince push him? My answer to that is I think Vince did. But why didn't he push him to the level that you want him to be? I honestly don't know. I don't know why he wasn't WWE champ. I'd have to say it's probably the charisma thing. And he was injury prone. Shelton Benjamin was always injured. Now, despite the fact that I'm highly pissed off and want to talk shit because of your video response, I'm going to go ahead and keep this, like I said, about the wrestling right now. But at the end of the day, I actually agree with you on Shelton Benjamin. But to answer your question, the reason why he wasn't given a world title was because of his charisma. He had none. The OVW tag team titles, 4 times. The MWF heavyweight title. The Ring of Honor tag team titles twice. The WWC Universal title. The WWE Intercontinental title 3 times. The tag team titles twice. And the US title once. Now, with that being said, I say that. And I noticed that in your response video, you said those titles don't matter because you said WWE. No, you didn't. No, you didn't at all. You wouldn't even be talking about TNA or none of that. You did talk about outside of WWE. You brought up Jeff Jarrett. You brought up Billy Gunn. You talked about people outside of outside of WWE. And in the beginning, and even at the end, you said not only do you think WWE is racist, but you insinuated and asked the question, is all of wrestling racist? So come on. We all know. Just come on. All right, let's go into your R-Truth, which I actually kind of agree with you here too, but we're going to go into R-Truth anyway.
But now you got upcoming stars, such as this person, R-Truth. He's got some sick freaking moves in the middle of the ring that he does. He does some sort of split dance and shit like that. And now he's got this little character, which is some of his fucking imaginary friend, little Jimmy, right? And, you know, it makes me think about this little character, little Jimmy, right? It's like the old R-Truth was R-Truth himself. He's a rapper, because that's what he does. You know what I'm saying? Doing, what's up, what's up, what's up? You know what I mean? His little thing. But now they want to change his whole character around. Vince McMahon wants to change it around. The crowd was getting into his shit. They loved his shit. You know what I'm saying? And because of the fact that John Cena is like the face of the WWE and he entertains, he's for the kids and shit like that, they have a person like R-Truth that they don't want him to be higher than Cena. He has to be at a certain level. You know what I'm saying? So if he outsells Cena, it's like it's gonna make Cena look bad, and Cena's not trying to look bad because he kisses a lot of ass, and that's what he does. He kisses the fucking boss's ass kisser to get what he fucking wants. But dude like R-Truth that busts his ass and try to get up there to win a higher rank and win a WWE title, which I think he should be the WWE champion. But in his character right now is bullshit, and I don't like it. That whole little Jimmy shit is gay as fuck. Little Jimmy said, I don't think he wants me to do this. Little Jimmy said, maybe I gotta make my bed. Why the fuck you gotta listen to everything what little Jimmy says, motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's not your fault, R-Truth. You only doing what your job is telling you what to do, just like we do in everyday life. You gotta understand, people need to understand, these guys are playing character roles in what goes on in people's lives today, basically, or what people imagine. You know what I'm saying? But it's like this. R-Truth, his character sucks balls. I don't like that fucking little Jimmy sandwich bullshit, man. That shit is so fucking gay. They need to stop with that shit. They need to bring back the old R-Truth. R-Truth should be a heel. He should be a heel, because even when he was working with The Miz, I even like The Miz's character. Even when he worked with The Miz, one thing I respect about The Miz is that The Miz was helping R-Truth. The Miz was pushing R-Truth, and they're also good friends. The Miz was pushing R-Truth. R-Truth was pushing Miz. So they both were pushing each other. And at the same time, they got up there, but he hit a fall because he got tested for drugs, which kind of fucked his ass up. But hey.
Alright, y'all just saw his rant on R-Truth. Now, R-Truth, Ron Killings, I actually thoroughly enjoy his work. I think you're wrong about the little Jimmy thing, and we're about to get into that. But you called him an upcoming star? For real? You know how long R-Truth's been around? Do you know how old R-Truth actually is? He's not no up-and-coming star. I mean, the motherfucker's a two-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Do you understand that? R-Truth is not an up-and-coming star. He's an old-ass dude. His career's about over. That's the truth. But then again, you got JBL's and Ron Simmons' age wrong, too. I know you should cut that out of your video, too. But we ain't going to talk about that right now. You say Vince is trying to sabotage him for John Cena. You said the little Jimmy thing is a bad gimmick. Let me explain this to you. Do you know how many little Jimmy shirts sold? You know how much money Ron Killings, R-Truth, made off the little Jimmy gimmick? That was his biggest merchandise years ever, was the little Jimmy. And the fact that you don't understand that means you don't understand business. Once again, you think that prop, the WWE World Heavyweight title, is the ultimate. No, money is the ultimate. And R-Truth was making plenty of it off of merchandise. Trust that. You said Cena kisses ass. Now, I agree with that. But you said that Cena's ass kissing is the reason that he excels at his job. Can I ask you, sir, have you ever had a job? In most work, the way you excel and move up at your job is to do what the fuck the person that pays you tells you to do. So the truth of it is R-Truth, John Cena, who you think such a kiss ass, nah, if you knew John Cena and you saw how much he worked, how much work he actually does, because to be in that top spot, you have to do all promo work. You don't get days off. I hate John Cena. I hate everything about his whole gimmick. But let's not front. John Cena earned his shit. And I'm not saying R-Truth didn't. But what I'm saying is, you think Vince McMahon held back R-Truth for John Cena? First of all, you act like R-Truth was number 2. There's 50 other people that was better than R-Truth. That's the truth. You're saying, well, they should have kept him as that. What's up? Really? Really? Mr. Race Baiter right now is going to tell us that they should have kept the black dude as the dude dancing around. Really? I know you keep talking about how many white friends you have. You know, it's funny that when people talk about white racists, they say, you know, a white racist because he can tell you how many black friends he has. Same thing, vice versa. And the funny thing about this is that when you was doing that, do you realize how much you're asking R-Truth to coon for that title? You want him to really just dance around and do the jig? Really? At least the little Jimmy thing is a storyline. Dancing around is not a storyline. That's a gimmick. See the difference? You said that R-Truth should play a heel. You're 100% right. In TNA, when he was NWA World Heavyweight Champion twice, that's what he was. In fact, he was the second ever TNA NWA World Heavyweight title. And I noticed that you always like to dismiss the NWA title, WCW World Heavyweight title. Let me explain this to you. Those titles meant something way before the WWE title meant something. Understand that. Way before there was a WrestleMania, there was a Starrcade. Those titles meant way more in the real world of wrestling. The NWA World Heavyweight title was worldwide. The WWE World title was actually just in New York. Learn your history on wrestling and you'll understand that. Learn about the regions, the regional territories. So the WWE title is not the title you make it out to be, as if it's the end-all be-all for World Heavyweight titles. I'm willing to say the NWA/WCW title actually was. So, anyways, I know you destroy that title, you piss on it when you talked about Mark Henry, when you talked about, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Drugs. You said R-Truth had drug issues. Actually, I think you're lying about R-Truth. I actually don't think he had drug issues at all. So I may be wrong. So before you even go say, look, you don't know something. Another thing, by the way, back to the Mountie thing. His name was Jacques Rougeau, but he was called the Mountie. I understand he was part of the tag team with Jean-Pierre Louet or whatever the fuck his name was. But the person that we're referring to that was Intercontinental title holder was the Mountie, Jacques Rougeau. And the name that he happened to go by at that time was the Mountie. So while you tried to think you were fact-checking me, come on, son. It ain't going down like that. Alright, now with that being said, let's go into Ron Killings. CSWF heavyweight title, MCW heavyweight title twice, 2-time National Wrestling Alliance NWA World Heavyweight Champion, twice. TNA Tag Team Champions, NWA Tag Team Champions, twice. Now we go to WWE. He was Tag Team Champions, he was US Champion, and he was Hardcore Champion, twice. That's 4 title reigns in the WWE. Since when is that not a push? You act like they're just... But I will say this. Do I think R-Truth has the charisma and the talent to be WWE champ? Yep. Yes, I do. Actually, even more than Shelton Benjamin. So with the R-Truth thing, I just wanted to fact check you on a couple of things that I think you're bullshit on. But ultimately, I agree with you on R-Truth. Now let's get up. We're gonna go ahead and look at your next part where we go into Kofi Kingston. This should be fun.
Just like this dude, you know what I mean? Another acrobatic wrestler by the name Kofi Kingston. Right now he's a hot priority right now in the WWE, but like I said, they're only gonna give him a certain amount of lip. You know what I'm saying? There's only certain levels that you're going to reach. You know what I'm saying? When you're in the WWE, especially if you're a black man, and I'm starting to notice that shit. Most people don't want to talk about that. They want to keep that shit in the closet. I don't give a fuck. I'm just being real. This is just what I see. How comes there isn't a black? How comes in our days or around now there isn't a fucking WWE? And I'm not talking about WCW World Heavyweight title that Mark Henry won. I'm talking about the WWE title. And even when he won, notice how that motherfucker lost it. Like Mark Henry lost the world title like what? The next pay-per-view or some shit. It really makes you think like, damn, Vince, you really got something against black wrestlers?
Alright, we just heard your rant on Kofi Kingston. Still don't understand why you said that. You started out by saying Kofi Kingston, now you got me saying it, is a hot priority. What the fuck does that mean? A hot priority. Are you trying to say hot commodity? What the fuck does hot priority even mean? And if he was a hot priority, or a hot commodity, or top priority, or whatever the fuck it is your illiterate ass is trying to say, wouldn't that mean he is getting pushed and that he is considered a top guy? If he was a hot, what'd you say, priority? They let anybody on YouTube, man. You're right about that one. Kofi is an excellent athlete. He really is acrobatic, unlike Shelton Benjamin. But he has absolutely no personality. Did you see the one time they tried to put him in a feud with Randy Orton? It was insanely boring. You know it and I know it. So I ask you, if a wrestler cannot cut promos, cannot market, cannot promote the events, why would you make him the guy? Think about it. You keep dissing the WCW World Heavyweight title to push your agenda. You did it again here with Mark Henry. Come on, man. Really? If you're that big of a wrestling fan that you claim to be, you can't show the WCW title, the NWA title with fucking respect? I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I already know you ain't that deep into it anyway, and that's fine. I mean, shit. I understand. But like I said in my first video, you put this video out as if you had knowledge on the subject. So what you're doing is you're trying to convince a bunch of people, which, okay, your YouTube channel isn't a bunch of people, even though I noticed you tried to bring up my views. Dude, you understand this is a video game channel. This ain't, you must not know about you must not know about me. I'll show you that in the next video. But this video channel is only for me and my kids to video game. That's all the video game kingdom is. Trust me. Google me. You'll see my fights. You'll see my fight coverage. You'll see... Google me. Now, with that being the case, WWE Intercontinental title, 4 times. US title, 3 times. Tag team title, 3 times. That's not a push to you? That's 10 motherfucking titles. That's 10 motherfucking titles. Why me and you sit here, wrestling fans, right? Wishing we could have one. You telling me you don't wish you could have one WWE title, even if it was the damn... As long as it's not the Divas title, I think we'd be pretty cool with it. This motherfucker got 10. And he had no wrestling background prior to this. No extensive wrestling background prior to this at all. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, when it comes to Kofi, I agree that he's a fantastic wrestler. World title? Come on. You don't really believe that, do you? But I will say this: they got him in a new gimmick. He's gonna be a new Nation of Domination, right? You should love that.
Yeah, but then when you point out racist things, you see, us as black people as a whole, we came up a long way, and it feels like we're taking 2 steps back. It just kind of seems that racism towards black people are getting more attention in the limelight, like it's being more televised. You feel me? It's like a spit to the face. It's like media's telling us that we're weak again. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I analyze things a little bit too much, but I even look at today's society. Where are our leaders? We have no motherfucking leaders. We have nobody to like kind of put things into place. You feel me? When we had our, you know, MLKs and our Malcolm X's and shit. But see, when I see this motherfucker by the name of Billy Gunn, he was a wrestler back in the 90s and shit, right? He worked for the WWE. But this is something that TNA's put together, right? This is from TNA. And I think this is the most racist fucking shit I mean, come on. If these motherfuckers ain't fucking racist, then what the fuck is? This is a white dude by the name of Billy Gunn. Got the black face on, dressed up in the black face, right? What the fuck is that supposed to portray? He's actually talking about, I believe, a black wrestler that he's supposed to be facing. You know, ever since that motherfucking real world shit with the black faces, it seems like this is a whole comedy shit. Ha ha ha. It's funny to do. We're gonna make it into a joke. This is not racist. No way, this can't be racist. Black people, you're just too sensitive. Fuck out of here. Who the fuck are you trying to prove? Alright, let's show a better picture. I actually found out who the wrestlers they making fun of, right? Okay, if you know back in the days, this is Billy Gunn and this is Road Dogg, Jesse James, or whatever the fuck his name was. They used to be the New Age Outlaws back in DX. That was a team I loved back in the days. You know what I'm saying? I never really saw fucking wrestling as okay, well, I'ma like this person because they're white, or I'ma like this person because they're black, or I'ma like this person because they're not this or that. I just love the wrestler for who he was. I don't give a fuck. I love their characters. You know what I'm saying? I mean, one of my best wrestlers of all time was Bret the Hitman Hart, and then came The Rock, then Stone Cold, and then I had Hogan somewhere there, and then there's Roddy Piper. Ultimate War I didn't really give 2 fucks about because that motherfucker was just fucking a lunatic. And then Macho Man. But everybody had those little displays everybody could relate to. But anyways, so yeah, they're making fun of Devon and shit, the Dudley Boys. Now, I'm not saying they're racist and shit, because I mean, what they're doing is a skit. I understand that, but they need to really think like, come on, my nigga. This right here is supposed to be Billy Ray. It was supposed to be Devon, the black dude's fucking brother and shit, like step brother. That's their characters. So Road Dogg's playing as fucking Bubba, and then you got badass Billy Gunn playing as Devon. Notice how this motherfucker's skin is like real dark because he's playing as the black dude. But have you noticed this? I understand he's trying to make fun of Devon, but have you noticed that this is the most racist giveaway you could ever see? Look at that motherfucker's lips and his nose. What the fuck do you think they're trying to portray? That black people are ugly. That's what they think of us. That's what they think of you. Look at that. The big lips and the big ass nose, right? And fucking Brolic and Diesel. They trying to say we're fucking monkeys, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? And we're fucking joking, we're laughing stock, because this is what they think of you. And I'm black, and I'm just being real. This is what most of us, that's what most of them think of us. Let's just be real. Because you got a motherfucking redneck
Alright,
dude.
now, see, there is actually a pattern in video number 2 here, is that I actually agree with you on some things, and I told you in the beginning of the video that would come. You go into the Billy Gunn stunt. Well, the New Age Outlaws when they was acting like the Dudley Boys. You're right. That shit was a horrible promo altogether. But see, one thing you did on your video back to me is that you criticized me for jumping off topic and going into politics. That's exactly what you did just now. Remember, you're telling the media is trying to tell you that you're weak and that the black people have no leaders, and ain't that off topic? Come on, son. Media telling you that you're weak, no leaders. Andrew Samuels, Fredric Berg. Are we really gonna go with that? No, that's not what they're doing. They were clowning. It was no different than they did with DX, and they clowned the Nation of Domination, and the Nation of Domination clowned them. Come on, man. I do agree with you that it has racial undertones, and I told you that I do believe that sometimes in wrestling there are things with racial undertones. But let me ask you this: isn't movies the same way? Isn't television the same way? Um, and by the way, don't insinuate. I noticed that you insinuated in your video some George Bush shit and me being down south shit. Number one, I'm not from the South. I live here now. I just moved here in 2012. Number two, I'm no Republican and I don't like George Bush. I got money like a Republican. I'm actually a libertarian. I don't fuck with that George Bush shit. And I don't fuck with that Barack Obama shit. I guess you can call me a conspiracy theorist. It is what it is. But you're wrong. Now, let's go back into this. You saying that it's saying, you said that ever since the real world, they've been doing the black faces. And I guess no black people's been doing white faces. No Dave Chappelle, no movie called White Chicks, no nothing. I don't see, and see, you say I twist your words around. No, I'm saying this because I see the video on WWE, but I don't see a video on Dave Chappelle. This is why I call you hypocritical. This is why I think that you're a race baiter. Because I don't see a video on how racist Dave Chappelle is, or how racist the movie White Chicks is. You know why? Don't offend you. And maybe that's one thing that we can agree with. You say I don't understand, or I don't understand because I can't experience it. Actually, you're wrong. Being a white dude raised in urban society, because I wasn't always paid. I'm actually from the projects of Chicago. I wasn't always paid. But being from that atmosphere, I did see it. I had a situation where, number one, I had to deal with black people in my neighborhood. Number two, I had to deal with white people calling me a wannabe. So I'm not the white southerner that you think I am. I was raised in black culture. Now, does that mean I experienced what you experienced? Hell no. Hell no. But at the same time, it's not like I'm oblivious to it. It's not like I've just been down here riding tractors and shit and don't know what the fuck's going on at all. But you are right. I can't know it unless I experience it truly. Touche. Now, you say black people are portrayed by Billy Gunn here as ugly. And then you say that's what most of them think about us. See, you tried to say that I said race baiters, and race baiters meant all black people, when it doesn't. Chris Matthews is a race baiter. Melissa Harris Perry is a race baiter. The entire left liberal base is a race baiter. That ain't got nothing to do with black. But you say and said most of them, and you're referring to white people. Don't try to fuck boy your way out of that. So the truth of it is, at the end of the day, I didn't say anything like most of them. That was you. That was you saying shit like that, not me. Black people are being portrayed as ugly. Yes, yes. When a white person tries to paint their body and look black, yeah, it looks pretty ugly. Just like when a black person does it and tries to portray themselves as white and look white, it's an ugly image. But it was supposed to be entertaining, and I agree, it was distasteful. Like I said, some of these storylines you're right on. All right, next up, you talked about Jeff Jarrett. Let's hear what you said about Jeff Jarrett, then we'll talk about Jeff Jarrett. Because you're wrong about Jeff Jarrett.
The name of this guy. Good old Double J, Jeff Jarrett. Now, from my understandings of what I found out on some information on Mr. Jeff Jarrett, but he's also one of the co-writers of TNA, and he actually writes the promos of what goes on. Now, a lot of people say they should boycott TNA because they're very vulgar and very racist, right? I already know this is entertainment, but sometimes entertainment goes way too motherfucking far, and it makes you really think art is imitating life. Thing about it is, what I don't understand is, how comes most of the black wrestlers are not complaining or making a big issue out of this? Maybe they are behind scenes, I'm pretty sure they are. Or maybe some of them are just too scared to speak up because of the fact that they don't want their jobs being in jeopardy. You know what I'm saying?
Is Jeff Jarrett a racist? Well, I mean, he's from Tennessee. Probably. I mean, it's possible. It is possible. But let me also tell you, TNA, in just their little time that they've been a company, has had more black world champions than the WWE ever did. So I don't understand why you're attacking TNA. The current TNA World Heavyweight Champion is Bobby Lashley. Am I right or wrong? Alright, and then so here's the thing. There's been 3 black world champions in TNA. 3 times a black man has held the world title. Jeff Jarrett was there for most of that. You're talking about Jeff Jarrett as if he runs TNA. Jeff Jarrett has not ran TNA in years. That's the truth. He's been with the company, but he hasn't ran TNA in years. Since Dixie Carter bought it, since the Carters bought it, he has been there, but he hasn't ran the company. And he's been completely gone from the company over doing an overseas promotion for years, literally. And now he's completely gone from the company. You said that there's probably black people in the back of the TNA locker room that wanted to say something to Jeff Jarrett, but they were scared to get fired. Whose fault is that? Seriously. Kind of reminds me of a YouTuber that likes to call people a bitch and lives in the same city, but is scared to come meet. Just want to take you to SeaWorld, youngster. Just want to take you to SeaWorld. Anyways. You're right. You're right. They were scared to get fired. And if that's the case, they didn't deserve the job anyway. Anyone that's scared doesn't deserve what they got. But I highly doubt they were scared because Jeff Jarrett, there's only one person that ever accused Jeff Jarrett of racism, and that was Conan. Do you remember Conan? Young Puerto Rican or Mexican wrestler, I don't actually remember his nationality. But he was actually a very talented wrestler. He actually was screwed over by Jeff Jarrett and called out of his name. So you may be right there. I've heard some reports of backstage racism in TNA. But it didn't show because there was black TNA world champions. Black people was on the roster. I think, anyway, with that being said, maybe you're right about Jeff Jarrett. Maybe you're right about Billy Gunn. It's not the whole wrestling industry. I still question the Jeff Jarrett thing, though. Now we're about to go in to one of the final things that you had to say. We're going to talk about The Rock. You had your conclusion, you talk about Vince, and you talk about The Rock. When I come back, we're going to talk about your part right here about The Rock. Let's go. The white world champion. Or Samoan world champion. The Samoan bulldozer. Right.
Beam me up, Scotty. Beam me up, Scotty.
Oh yeah, you know, people gotta say, yeah, you know, but you're wrong, you know, they were a black, or there was a black WWE champion, okay, and his name was The Rock. But see, Rock to me doesn't really count. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's what, the great grandson of Pia Maivia, you gotta understand, Vince McMahon likes a pretty face. He likes Broadway action, something that will attract crowds, something that will attract mostly, let's just face it, kids and white people, whiter crowds. Okay? And you got the guy like The Rock, he's a fairly good looking dude, you know what I'm saying? He's sharp looking, ladies like him. Guys like him because he's got this badass attitude to him, so it's like he's got all the combinations of the perfect man that most women like. And he's a champion, right? So people will say, yeah, The Rock was black and he was a champion. Some people don't want to consider him as being black, especially Vince McMahon. He's known as the Samoan Bulldozer. That's what they called him back in the day, or some shit like that. And then before, you know, in WWE, he was always known as being Samoan, or he's from Samoa, but in real actual fact, his grandfather's black, he is black and Samoan. Even in some of his promos he'll cut and he'll say, he did a promo before where he was like saying, yes, I have the black genes in me, my father's black and my mom's Samoan. And I don't know, he was just going at somebody or whatever, which was pretty cool that he was able to put himself out there like that. And he's one of the superstars that was lucky to get a break, to actually have the freedom to express how he feels. You know what I'm saying? On the mic, instead of something that's being scripted by WWE writers. Most people don't get that chance, and he got that chance and that opportunity. But my question is for...
Okay, moving on to The Rock, who you believe was called the Samoan Bulldozer in his early days. You ever heard of a MAGA? That, my friend, was the Bulldozer. The Rock's never been called the Samoan Bulldozer. But I understand you're trying to use it to your agenda because you said in your video that The Rock doesn't count because The Rock's not black. You don't consider The Rock black, even though he's got a black father. He's just as black as the guy that people call our first black president. See what I'm saying? The Rock's just as black. Oh, you mean he's not hood enough for you? Hood doesn't mean black. Trust me. At all. Shit, I know plenty of black people that's more well established than I am, and I'm white. Hood don't mean black. Alright, but anyway, you say he doesn't count. You know why he doesn't count to you? Because he doesn't fit your agenda. Because The Rock's the one guy that has 10 WWE World Heavyweight Championships. That's why you don't want to count The Rock. You say that The Rock is here to sell to a white crowd, a white audience. Well, do we have to go back to the numbers where 65% of America is white? Yes, most businesses would like to get the white consumer. That doesn't mean that they're not trying to get the black consumer. Dude, the WWE purposely has Rey Mysterio, Alberto Del Rio on SmackDown because they believe that's the night that Mexicans view wrestling. They truly do. They do pander to all races. It's not just a white-black thing. Carlito, when he was there, they were pandering to him. You saw it yourself. You're the one that commented on it. But yes, I would want 65% of America to consume my product too. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you like? And you know what? You did just as much pandering. Because on your video response to me, you made sure you pandered to other white people that subscribe to your channel, didn't you? I want to make this clear that I'm not talking to all the white people. Just this asshole or whatever you kept calling me. That you won't call me to my face. All right. And I'm sick for even suggesting that. Now we'll get into that, like I said, in the next video. You said Vince didn't consider The Rock black? What? You ain't gonna provide any evidence for that crazy ass statement. You said that I was just creating shit. You said Vince didn't consider The Rock black? Have you watched The Rock documentaries? You said because Vince called him the Samoan bulldozer. I just proved you were lying about that. Why did The Rock succeed where other people didn't? The answer is simple. The Rock has charisma. The Rock has the body, the image, and The Rock has the skill. The Rock had all three of those things combined, and he became probably one of the top 3 biggest superstars in WWE history. You said Bret Hart was your favorite guy. Your favorite wrestler is not a white. It is a white guy. Let me explain. Bret Hart's actually my favorite wrestler. I think Ric Flair is the best of all time, but I think Bret Hart's actually my favorite wrestler, so I'm with you on that. Just because you like a wrestler that's another race doesn't mean you're not racist. I highly question whether you're racist or not. I will say this, though. I apologize for the gay comment. I couldn't understand why you kept asking, why MVP? You kept saying that he was like a ladies' man. I'm like, he never played that character. And you still never explained yourself for that. You just said, oh, don't call me gay. Thought you liberals was okay with being gay. I'm the closed-minded one, right? Ain't that what you said? All right. We're going to come back. Oh, here, let's look at The Rock. USWA Tag Team Champion, twice. WCW and World Heavyweight Champion, twice. WWE Champion, 8 times. It's a total of 10 times. The IC Championship, twice. Tag Team Championship, 5 times. The Royal Rumble winner. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, too. And he is a black man. Even if it doesn't fit your agenda, The Rock is a black man. Deal with it. Let's move on to your conclusion and what you had to say about Vince McMahon. Actually, we'll just do Vince McMahon, and then we'll do the conclusion. Be right back.
My question is for you, the chairman of the motherfucking board, which I wish I could ask you this question right into your face. You know what I'm saying? Why the fuck you don't have a black champion? Why the fuck is there not a WWE black champion of our day? Why can't a black wrestler? Why? I shouldn't even say that, because there's some black wrestlers that do suck. But I'm gonna say this: how comes people like Sheldon Benjamin should have won the WWE title? How comes he never won a Money in the Bank? Him being that fucking agile, that fucking good, how comes you didn't make him become champion? You know he was well deserved to be the champion. Also, what you gonna do with Kofi Kingston? Is Kofi Kingston gonna be a champion? How comes Ron Simmons didn't win a fucking world title? You know what I'm saying? How comes people like that? How comes Booker T never won the WWE title?
Alright, actually we're going to do Vince McMahon and the conclusion. Is what we're going to go ahead and do. You said if you had a chance to ask Vince McMahon, you'd ask him, why don't you have a black world champion? I've stated this question to you a million times. Which black man should be the world heavyweight champion? And who should they replace? Because you can't just say, well, this black guy deserves to be world champion. You have to decide who it's going to replace. It's simple business. Is he going to replace Cena? Which black man has the drawing potential and marketing ability of John Cena? Shit, what white man has the marketing ability as John Cena? Let's just be honest. You say Shelton Benjamin deserves... See, in your video to me, you said you didn't say these people deserve to be world champion. I think you need to listen to the end of your video. Because you said Shelton Benjamin deserves to be champion. Why isn't he? Ron Simmons deserves to be champion. Why isn't he? Kofi Kingston deserves to be champion. Why isn't he? And then you bring up Booker T. Booker T had one of the biggest pushes ever. The King Booker gimmick was legendary. I was a huge King Booker fan, obviously, with the whole King shit. You are in, I mean, come on. And he was champion. In WCW, he was multi-time champion. Booker T's had a hell of a run. I think he's a Hall of Famer now. Maybe not yet, but I could be wrong on that. But he's going to be. And you know he's going to be. Booker T was a legend, man. Now, let's go ahead and end that there. Vince McMahon. You know what? I wish you could ask him that. Because I bet you he'd give you the same answer I just gave you. Which champion would you like him to replace? Which guy do you think should be number one? And who do you think he should replace? It's about money, man. Who draws people to the arenas? And if you think for 5 seconds that Kofi Kingston, whatever you want to call him, can outdraw John Cena at the box office, man, you're insane. I was a little bit more calm in this video. Now let's move on to your conclusion.
Even back in the days that there were a little bit of racial tension going on and stuff like that in WWE, well, it just comes to my conclusion. I think WWE is racist. I think wrestling is kind of racist to a certain point. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, you gotta really think. There's something seriously going wrong here. Have all this talent of wrestling that you have, or even better than most of the talent that you have, but you're still there, only get a push, only to be so far, but they can never win a WWE title. I ain't bitching about it, but it's just out of self-respect. You kind of wonder, as a wrestling fan too, no matter what color you are, you black, white, Spanish, Puerto Rican, whatever, you don't see color in wrestling. You just see characters, you see wrestlers that you can relate to. You pick your favorite one that you like and ones that you don't like. But my question is, are you ever going to make a black champion? Or are you going to continue to have people question about you?
Alright, we're there. The conclusion. See, in your video to me, you said that you didn't say wrestling was racist. You said you just posed the question. As we look at the end of your video, we see you definitely call WWE and wrestling racist. You said, that's my opinion. They are, in my opinion, they are racist. That means you're saying they're racist, dude. That's your opinion. Just like my opinion is that they're not. You said that all these black wrestlers that you mentioned is better than most of the talent. You're saying these guys are better than most of the other talent. Okay? Can you prove that? How are they better than the CM Punk, Chris Jericho, Daniel Bryan? Please enlighten me. Triple H, any of them. Do you understand what better means? Are they better in the ring? Some of them are. But if they don't draw money, who gives a shit? Wrestling is fake. It's a show. It's a ballet. And if you don't draw money, then what good are you? Just the truth. You said you ain't bitching about it. Dude. You made a 3-part series about it. And now I'm responding to your 3-part series about it, and you say you weren't bitching? Come on. Who says they're not bitching, but yet they made a 3-part series? You are bitching. And you said finally that you do not see color. But yet you want to call me a hypocrite. If you didn't see color, you would have never made the videos in the first place. Would you have? So let me give you my conclusion. The WWE nor any other wrestling promotion is racist. Just like any other form of entertainment, have they joked, commented on, did social commentary on racism? Yes. Vince McMahon's a Democrat. He's a liberal. He votes for the very things that help black people. So to accuse him of being a racist, it's pretty fucking stupid. You can call me a racist because I really do want to take away food stamps and welfare and all that shit. And if you want to call that an attack on whoever, you can call it whatever you want. You can call me anything you want. It's stupid to call me a racist. But to call Vince McMahon a racist, you have no evidence of that. You have none at all. Other than the fact that your favorite little wrestlers didn't win the title. Deal with it. I'm coming back with another video in response to your bullshit. Is the WWE racist? Hell no. Peace.